Do you want to teach your kids a real lesson in how to save? We have found two very useful websites. They might even teach you a thing or two. And then tomorrow we got to get out and shovel, snowblow. Right. But not only do we have to do that, we have to do it in 12-degree weather.
It is going to be very cold tomorrow.
It must be at least 10 feet away from the building. And with all the construction continuing, it doesn't really look like a baseball field quite yet, but take a look all the way across the field. Yeah, and fog is a price that we are willing to pay to melt that snow.
Yes, I can tell, yes.
All right, thanks a lot, Caitlin. A 180-pound man would need to drink 17 beers in a 5-hour period to reach that 0.30 blood alcohol content level. And let me tell you, it is hot here, but I must have found the best location in the entire place. It's because of these two fans that you see on either side of me.
Snow blowers in order for tomorrow.
Definitely.
It's plowable.
It is definitely plowable.
You learned that.
Local breaking news. We've been following the search for a suspect after a high-speed chase that circled around the Midtown area and led to South Omaha. Emergency broadcasts indicated the person police were looking for was armed and dangerous. Jeff Sabin continues our coverage from 38th and I, where police recovered the suspect's vehicle. Now, Jeff, are officers still searching for anyone at this time? More so than other years, Omaha businesses are hoping folks in the metro shop in the metro. So starting today through December 15th, we pulled out our speed zapper once again and found some people to be going the speed limit, but many others to be going well beyond it. I would think so. I mean, that's what they do for a living. Let's hope so. But no matter what I taste, I'm speechless.
Yes,
There's so much
so
chocolate.
good.
It just makes me giddy. Good evening, I'm Jaime McCutcheon. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. Happening locally live at 5, students walk in together as a show of solidarity for their first day back. Awaiting them, a message from Millard South Principal Curtis Case, who is in the hospital recovering from his shooting injuries. In a brief statement released on his behalf, he told students, quote, "I am proud of you and the staff, and I look forward to coming back." Today, his condition was upgraded to fair. Brian Mastery was there as students returned for their first day since Wednesday's shooting. The 16-year-old sophomore who was with Butler when he vandalized the school's football field continues to serve out a 19-day suspension. He, along with Butler, was ticketed for trespassing. Through his attorney, Stu Dornan, the student says he knew Butler, but not well. He says he did not know anything related to the shooting. Dornan says the teen has cooperated with police and turned over his cell phone to investigators. A moment of silence will be observed at tomorrow's basketball game at Millard South in memory of Dr. Vicki Casper. Today it was announced the Millard Public Schools Foundation has established a scholarship in her honor. Funeral arrangements have also now been made for the gunman Robert Butler Jr. The service will be held Saturday morning in Lincoln with the burial to follow. A man described as a person of interest in the case of a missing Nebraska college student was in court today accused of sexually assaulting another woman. Joshua Keatle is facing 3 counts of sexual assault and 2 other felony charges for allegedly raping a woman Halloween night. Keatle will stand trial on the sexual assault charges on January 19th. Also today, there are new revelations in the Ty Thomas case and what investigators uncovered after interviewing Keatle. Jody Baker will bring us those details coming up tonight, live at 6. Not enough to worry about, but we have seen a little bit of snow this afternoon, and that's not the end of it in our forecast. We're going to go right now to meteorologist Caitlin Roth, who has a first look at our hour-by-hour forecast. Hi, Caitlin.
Hi, Jamie. You're right. We full forecast.
Yeah, they don't look so great, do
No, they don't.
All right. Thanks a lot, Caitlin.
Sure.
The motive behind the murder of a 54-year-old service station manager remains still a mystery. Friends of Milton Jackson want to know just why he was the target. Backpack journalist Jeff Sabin spoke with one friend who says Jackson was a good man with an infectious personality. There have been no arrests so far in connection with that case. A man brings a rock into a bridal store as a robbery weapon, but the clerk not intimidated and refuses to turn over any money. Officers eventually caught up with 26-year-old Robert Delamont. It might be another 5 years before the nation's unemployment rate drops to a normal level. That's the prediction of the Federal Reserve Chairman Ben Bernanke. Addressing lawmakers on Capitol Hill, Bernanke says while it's taking time, there's more evidence that a self-sustaining recovery is taking hold. Bernanke's comments coincide with the release of the latest unemployment rate. It dipped slightly in December to 9.4%, but analysts point out the drop was fueled in part by the decision by many unemployed workers to just give up their job search. With iPhones in hand, our iReporters continue to keep an eye on the heartland. We begin with one school's new effort to work more exercise into the daily routine. Because of the popularity of today's event, the VNA says it will try to host another free health screening when kids head back to school in the fall. If you have an iPhone clip to share, head to our web channel, WOWT.com, and look under the News tab. There you'll find a link to our Eye on the Heartland and instructions for uploading your video. Still ahead after sports, do you want to teach your kids a real lesson in how to save? We have found two very useful websites that might even teach you a thing or two. Plus, Blockbuster explains some of the changes it will be making in the coming year in order to better serve its customers. You know, if you don't like the snow, it's never a good sign when you see the snow ducky onto our forecast.
Not a good sign. That's right.
Start the week off with snow and then negative temperatures.
I know. Yeah. You don't look too happy.
I don't think anyone's going
right,
to.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Caitlin. It's one of the biggest problems when it comes to airline reward programs. If you don't fly often enough, you usually lose your points. Coming up after our look at what's new on the net, how one airline is changing its policy for passengers. Up next, this month's Food for Thought. When it comes to New Year's resolutions, many of us take things out of our diet, but what if you added something instead? Making sure you're getting enough milk dramatically boosts your nutrition. And it's possible to do it even if dairy doesn't agree with you. In January's Food for Thought, registered dietitian Marilyn Wadham takes a look at the options. Marilyn recommends low-fat dairy for families. That means 1% or skim milk. For this month's Meals in Minutes, head to momseveryday.com. It's the first road game in conference play for the Creighton Blue Jays. Up next, Greg tells us why the Blue Jay defense just might be the key to a win. This is Channel 6 News live at 5.
Out with a win against Southern Illinois.
All right, we will look for the highlights at 10.
We'll have them.
All right, thanks a lot, Greg. And up next, new on the net, getting a grip on spending. We have two websites to show you. One tells you how long you would need to save in order to purchase the items you want. The other tells you the real cost when you're using a credit card. You're watching Channel 6 News live at 5. New on the net, ever wonder how long it might take to save for a really big ticket item? Well, instead of guessing, a website can do all the work for you. At daystopay.com, you can calculate how long it will take you to earn the money you need to purchase an iPad, a big screen TV, or whatever else you're interested in buying. Southwest Airlines is improving its program for frequent flyers. Changes to the Rapid Rewards program will begin March 1st. Blockbuster is also making changes as it seeks to emerge from bankruptcy. The company is closing more of its stores and is adding hundreds more kiosks, similar to those operated by Redbox. To keep customers tuned in, the company recently launched its first national ad campaign in 3 years. Once again, visitors to our national parks will be able to get in for free during certain days this year. The first free dates are January 15th through the 17th in honor of Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. While admission on those days is free, other park fees will still apply. Caitlin's back now with a final check of our hour-by-hour forecast for the day.
All right, well, we've got a little bit of snow on the radar, that's for sure. So we're snowing for about, 2 days straight.
Yeah, so if you were keeping your fingers crossed that it would miss us, forget it. It's going to hit us.
It's really going to encompass a large part of the area, so.
All right, thanks a lot, Caitlin.
Sure.
And thank you so much for joining us. Channel 6 News continues in 30 minutes with Live at 6. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and our web channel, WOWT.com. About an hour and a half outside of Omaha, the crickets and grasshoppers are louder than the traffic. Farming equipment outnumbers buildings, and life moves with peace. Right now it's harvest time on the Bartling Brothers farm, and the corn is coming in.
Our family's been here in Nebraska our entire lives. We've had, my son will be the 5th generation. We grew up on this farm.
On this farm, two things rule: the crops and the pigs.
We have about 2,000 sows. We produce about 50,000 pigs a year.
But Jim Bartling and his brothers haven't always solely slopped the pigs for a living. A much faster-paced life once took them far from these Nebraska roots.
Actually, my first job was I was Solar Man on comic strip. I was a comic book hero.
After winning a national hunk contest in the 90s, Jim Bartling started getting modeling jobs, and his brothers Kurt and Chris soon followed.
Caught us off guard a little bit, but we were like, well, geez, if they want to see us, we'll just go ahead and go on out. It's a free trip. What the heck?
About the time we showed up in New York City, she said, well, I need somebody to replace Fabio. So we pretty much took over his position.
Romance novel cover shoots started taking the place of pig and crop farming.
It was funny because some of them barely looked like me. So I was like, is that me?
Then came the posters and the calendars and the fame.
We were in the Macy's Day Parade behind Dolores and Bob Hope. We had our own float.
People loved it. I don't know, you know, they just loved where we came from, and they loved that we were down to earth.
Down to earth thanks to that farm planted firmly on Nebraska soil, and it's the farm that eventually called them home. All three brothers today work all 1,800 acres.
It used to be, when's the limo get here to pick us up? Now it's, when's the truck get here to haul the pigs?
A long way from the photo shoots and those New York City lights. But the Bartling brothers prefer the peace of Nebraska. Quite a change-up, isn't it? Well, farming is the brothers' mainstay now, but it was hit hard a few years ago by the swine flu, and it still hasn't recovered. Now, this is the website. Jim tells me they're working on developing their meat line, and we have a link to this on WOWT.com if you're interested. And he would also like to develop a hunting show one day, but modeling, that's going to stay in the past. Reporting live, Jaime McCutcheon, Channel 6 News. John and Mallory, those sons were brought here to Creighton University Medical Center. Now, this is the same hospital where their father, Dr. Adam Smith, was soon to complete his residency as a radiologist. Both boys had serious injuries. However, it was the 2-year-old who had more severe injuries like a fractured skull. But it was that 8-year-old who saw it all happen and understands what he saw, that his father did not survive.
He just wanted to know if his dad was alive. Is my dad okay? Is my dad alive?
But for an 8-year-old boy and his dad, 33-year-old Dr. Adam Smith, this crash just east of 120th on Harrison changed everything.
Hit the center island, went airborne about a foot, foot and a half, and hit the westbound Ford Focus, and then the Chevy Impala T-boned the Ford Focus.
Smith was driving this Ford Focus with his 8- and 2-year-old sons hit head-on by the Honda Accord. The Honda's driver, 27-year-old Jason Laware, was cut from his car and taken to a waiting helicopter.
We have some indication that alcohol may be a factor, so we are investigating that aspect of it.
We found these pictures of Laware on his MySpace page, alcohol in hand for many of them. While there was reason to rush Laware to the hospital, there was nothing anyone could do for Adam Smith. He died at the scene.
You think you're tougher than you are, but like I said, it tears at you when a little boy, 6 years old, is in your car and all he can ask is if his dad is dead already.
Finding out that he was on his way to taking his son to their first day of school was even more heartbreaking.
Dr. Min Liu worked side by side with Adam Smith, first at Creighton's medical school, then in their 5-year residency there.
He was very witty, has a great sense of humor, and incredibly talented and good at what he does.
And even better at Smith's #1 role.
Him and his wife, they have 3 beautiful children, the youngest of which is only a couple months old. He's very, very proud. He has pictures of his kids, and he always talks about his kids. And, he's a wonderful dad.
A dad whose 3 young children and wife must now learn to live without, along with so many others who loved him.
We lost a great radiologist. As a person, as a father, he was exemplary in what he did with, for his kid, for his community.
Dr. Liu tells me that Adam's wife, Melissa, a nurse at Methodist, is amazingly strong tonight and leaning on the couple's faith. They were devout Mormons, and it is no doubt their faith that is helping them get through everything tonight here inside Creighton University Medical Center. Another person here, the man accused of causing that crash, Jason Laware, he is expected to survive his injuries, and charges are expected against him. Reporting live, Jaime McCutcheon, Channel 6 News. And here at Midtown Crossing, we're seeing a lot of these signs right now coming soon. Definitely a good thing economically for this area. Another restaurant coming soon is Crave. It's set to open up on October 11th. Greg Ortiz joins us now live. And Greg, I always just say any kind of win is good. It's a win.
Is Bo ever really happy though?
Well, true.
No. We'll win, yes.
Just a wonderful weekend to get outside and do something. It's something fall-like, even though it feels like summer.
Yeah, it has been an easy start to fall.
All right, thank you, Andrea, and thank you so much for joining us. Channel 6 News continues in 30 minutes with Live at 6, but right now it's time for NBC Night News with Brian Williams. Have a great night.